So, thank you all for coming. Hare Krishna. This is a sacred place. It's a spiritual haven within this material world which we are situated in. It's a place for enlightenment, where we can cultivate and understand higher knowledge, higher principles in life, where we can understand the goal of life and what is the actual purpose of existence in this material world. So first of all, I'll ask if anyone has any questions they would like to ask a member of the Hare Krishna movement about deeper things, about the meaning of life, the universe, maybe everything. And then we can try to give some answers if anyone has anything you'd like to know. So if anyone has any questions, you can ask. Yes, sir.
What is enlightenment? How does one know whether he or she is enlightened?
Okay. So to understand what is enlightenment, you want to go a little bit deeper to elaborate exactly what it is you?
We have all come here for enlightenment.
Yeah.
So we take something here, we go and apply a few things in real life.
Yeah.
And we should be able to know, like, alright, we are on the right track, we are towards enlightenment, or are we caught up in the ego of, yeah, we are all enlightened.
Yeah.
Kind of confusion that terms creates and in the real world when you actually apply a few things.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. So what is enlightenment? Can anyone help me? Does anyone know the answer to this one? What is enlightenment?
Pure consciousness.
Very good, pure consciousness. It's a correct definition. Very good. Anything else?
Inner peace.
Inner peace, yeah. Inner peace is a result of enlightenment or a symptom of enlightenment. Very good.
To be with Krishna.
To be with Krishna, yeah. Very good, that's correct as well.
Acceptance.
Acceptance, yeah. That's also another symptom of one who is enlightened, is accepting. Very good. Anything else? So the definition of enlightenment is to understand the difference between matter and spirit, or the difference between what is temporary and what is eternal. That is enlightenment, that is the real definition. In other words, our body, which we find ourselves within, trapped within at this point in time, this is temporary. This is just a temporary, we could even say it's an illusion to an extent. The body is real, it exists, we're experiencing this now, it is real. It's not that it's not real, but it is temporary. Your body will only last maximum 100 years, if you're fortunate. Most people don't even, the average these days is 77 or something like that. So most people will not live a long life. So that is temporary. Your body actually in eternity, if you look at time in the eternal spectrum, the amount of time that we live in this body on this planet is very small. It's insignificant actually, in comparison to eternity. It is just a temporary situation. So we are just transiting, or we're just passing through, and at this point in time we happen to be in this body which is temporary. That is why it is called illusory. There's something which is temporary, ultimately that's illusion. Whereas the soul, or the person within the body, who we actually are, that is eternal. We are eternal. We are not born, we do not die. Krishna teaches this in the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, the ancient teachings from India. That for the soul there is no birth nor death. Krishna gives a nice verse in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. He said, one who is born is sure to die. One who dies is sure to be born again. So we are eternal. Although we're fearful of death is called asmita. Asmita means like it's an inherent fear of death. You see sometimes. Do you see when people are working in the ICU, when you see people die? You must see people die regularly. Are they generally fearful or generally peaceful? What's the...
They can be both. So it depends on what they've come to terms with. Some people are fearful and some people aren't. Some people they know that this is their time, they've come to terms with it, and they just pass away camps where, no, people they're not ready to die. They don't feel that they've fulfilled their purpose on this earth. So it's a very unsettling time.
Yeah, so sometimes people are very peaceful. That means that they've understood that they will not die. Death is just a transformation. Just like birth is a transformation. Growth is a transformation. We produce byproducts, children, that's a transformation. We get old, that's a transformation, and then we die, that's a transformation. So one who is enlightened, he is not bewildered or not thinking that this is a negative experience, but rather it's a positive experience because the soul is eternal. So that is enlightenment. When you do not have fear of death, that is enlightenment. That means you've understood the difference between the matter and spirit, the body and the soul. Prabhupada, who was the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, you can see him sitting there on the Vyasa-san. Srila Prabhupada, he was an enlightened soul, and the name he was given at birth by his father was Abhay Charan. Abhay means one who is fearless, one who understands his spiritual identity and therefore does not have any fear. That is enlightenment. Whereas for most of us it is not quite like that. So that's the beginning of enlightenment, to understand. Now, if we understand that we are the soul, not the body, that we are eternal, not temporary, then what is our eternal occupation? If we live forever, what will we do forever? Very good, serve. Yeah, that's the correct answer. Any other answers?
I got a headache before.
What's that?
It's killing me.
You got a headache before?
Yep,
Okay.
right here.
Okay.
I got a headache.
Do you need some water? Or?
Not really.
You're okay?
It's killing me.
Oh no. Just rest.
Yeah.
That's just, you'll be okay. Okay. Does anyone have any other? Definitely. What will we do eternally?
Be happy.
Be happy? Yeah. Ideally. You should be happy eternally. Anything else?
Learn things as we go through life.
Yeah, continue to learn. Yeah, what will we do? We will develop or learn. Very, yeah. Anything else?
Transform.
Transform. Very good. Very good. Anything else? What will we do for eternity is a long time, so we have to...
Helping other people.
Helping others, very good. Same as the original answer, serving. Yeah, so actually, if we understand we are the soul, the purpose of the soul, or the eternal occupation of the soul, is seva. In Sanskrit, or in Hindi, we have this word seva. Seva means service. You have to serve. If you analyze what you're doing all day, every day, you're serving. That's all we do. Who are we serving? Your dog, your cat, your children, your parents, your boss, ourself. That's who we serve most of the time, ourself. Right? So that is basically what we do. If you look all day, we're just serving. That's all we do. We're created to serve. We're simply servants. So then, if we are simply servants, then how will service give us the ultimate happiness? Because service always gives you happiness. Right? If you're absorbed in yourself, you can never be completely happy. If you're always thinking how to please others, right, then you will be very happy. Right? And if you learn to serve Krishna, that's our understanding of the Supreme God, the Supreme Entity. He's the bluish boy in all the pictures around the room. If you learn to serve Krishna or God, then you will be the most happy. Because that is our source or our origin. You can serve everyone else in this world, right, and try to make them happy, and they'll never be happy anyway. Because the nature of the world. We try to make everyone happy. Anyone successful in their life in making everyone around them happy? Anyone? Anyone? Can you make everyone happy? Right? Very difficult to do, to make everyone happy. That is impossible. Only one person can do that, actually. That's Krishna. God himself can make everyone happy. If we're willing to cooperate. We have to be cooperative. Right? If we're not willing to cooperate, then very difficult. Even he cannot make us happy if we're not willing to cooperate. But if we're willing to cooperate, he can make everyone happy. So that is the goal of service. Ultimately to serve him. And if you serve him, then you'll want to serve all other persons simultaneously. And what is the best way to serve people? What is the best way to serve humanity? What's that?
Give knowledge,
Give knowledge, yeah, very good. Can we go a little deeper on that?
spiritual knowledge.
Very good, spiritual knowledge, yeah. That's the best way to serve people, to help enlighten them, which is the question you're asking. No? What is enlightenment? If you assist someone else to become enlightened, that is the best service you can render to humanity. No? Otherwise, you'll never feel complete. No? You can feed people, right? You can give them clothes, you can give them so many things, but even if you give them food, clothing, all these things, the next day they'll still be hungry again. Not that we should not do that. We should feed people. Who is the biggest food distribution agency on this planet? Who feeds more people than anyone? Which institute or which movement or which society feeds more people than anyone else on this planet? What's that? ISKCON, yeah. Who? Does anyone know? Any guesses? Who would you think, if you just had to randomly think? Who would you think? Huh? See what?
You guys, the Krishna people?
Yeah, well, I'm trying to look for others first.
Salvation Army.
Very good. Salvation Army. Salvation Army key?
Jai.
Salvation, you can say anyone. Salvation Army or, I don't know, Red Cross or anything. Yeah, I don't know if that's free though. Yeah, not free. But actually the biggest food distribution movement on the planet is actually the Hare Krishna movement. Up until 6 months ago, I mean I've been a Hare Krishna for 28 years, but up until 6 months ago I didn't even know that. We feed 1.2 million people every day on this planet. Right? All vegetarian food. Without any animals being slaughtered or hurt. Every day. In India alone, 800,000 every day. 8 lakhs every day. Hare Krishna. It's quite a lot. Right? So that's good. You have to feed people. If people are hungry, they can't listen to you. Right? You know, if everyone had been fasting yesterday, if you haven't eaten for one day, then I'm trying to speak, right? All of you are just thinking, when's this going to be quiet so we can have lunch? You can't speak to a hungry person, but if a person is satisfied, they've eaten properly, but then the best thing you can do is to give them spiritual knowledge, spiritual guidance, enlightenment. That is the ultimate. So we're created as spiritual entities to serve others, particularly by giving them spiritual enlightenment. That is the highest goal. So that is the definition. That is what enlightenment is for, and that's how to give others enlightenment. Would you like to add anything? Is that okay?
One more. So would you say that enlightenment is a continuous process? That's something, you could easily go today, I read Bhagavad Gita, I hear something, and the energy is all good. But once you go out and face the reality in life, you have to gather the experience and try it again from the scratch. So in that aspect, would you say enlightenment is a continuous process in everyday living, or is there an entity called enlightened? Is there somebody who can be enlightened? Is that a state that's achieved, or it's continuously being achieved?
It's both. It's both. Because once you understand the difference between matter and spirit, or you understand your eternal identity, that's enlightenment. But once you understand that, there's always more to be known. And actually in the Bhagavad Purana, the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, which is on the second shelf at the back, on the bookshelf, in the prayers of the personified Vedas, which is in the 10th section, the 10th canto, around about chapter 90 or so, it states that even God himself, Krishna himself, when he fully understands the extent of his energy or his potency, his power, at that moment he realizes he's more powerful than he imagined. So each moment when he understands his full capacity, he realizes there is more to be known. No? So even he himself, you can say he is enlightened, because he is, by definition, Krishna is. But even he is continuously expanding or growing. So even when we become enlightened, still there's more to know. So both are correct.
Thank you.
Nice question. Your question was so nice today, we'll give you a free dessert. No one else. TK Acharya.